If it's okay, we'll just go directly into the Recreation, Public Parks, and Building Committee. The first of the two resolutions are 2021-41, a contract between the city and Carrie Skull for the gymnastics. Present are Council President Jones, committee members Kelly, Heeman, and Broussard, the rest of council, the mayor, law director, HR director, recreation director Betsy Drensky, and guests. The resolution authorizes the mayor to renew the contract between the city and Carrie Skull Tipton, North Olmsted Gymnastics Incorporated for the provision of professional gymnastics instruction services at the North Olmsted Recreation Center for 1 year. Betsy, would you like to go ahead with that?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So Carrie's been here for 20 some years now. As you know, she owns the equipment in the gymnastics area. We have had multiple contracts with her. Her first ones when I was involved were about 5 years long. We've moved to different versions of that, including charging rent, just kind of a short history there to get us up to speed. With COVID, obviously everything was closed down. She struggled at first. Gymnastics wasn't the first thing people went running to a year ago when we opened. It's been a year already, but we did slowly ramp classes back up, and she did see some improvement in the fall. So we entered into an agreement with her last year for a 6-month term that was renewable after 6 months. We reduced the rent from what had previously been $8,000 a month in our previous contracts in 2019. We reduced it with a number that if she met a certain revenue number, she would double that rent. This was something we spent a lot of time with law and the mayor's department to make sure it was fair for the city, fair for Carrie to try to get that contract back up and running. We're still in the middle of that next 6-month term. So the first one went well. She was able to double the rent. She did pay the $12,000, which would be the additional rent. That check was given to us in a timely manner. It went well. Her classes are doing okay. Certainly increasing as we all are, all of our programs slowly. And we would like to enter into this type of agreement one more time with her. It would begin in October. So just coming to you now with this so that it's done in time for the timing with your 3 readings and break and 30 days. So we're still in the contract with her. This one has a higher rent percentage and a higher revenue percentage, putting us back at about $5,000 rent per month, as long as things keep continuing to improve. If they didn't, she'd be at a minimum of $3,500 rent. So that is where we're at with this. So this again would begin October 1st and run through March 31st of 2022. For that first 6 months, renewable for another 6 months after that, same as we're doing right now.
Thank you, Betsy. I don't have any questions. I read over the contract pretty much exactly as you summed it up there, so I'll open it to committee. Mr. Broussard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a comment that, as Betsy indicated, that Carrie and her staff have been involved with our rec center providing gymnastics instruction for 20 years. And I personally, my family personally, not me personally, has benefited from that instruction. And, it's a really well-run organization, and I think it serves as a really nice feeder system to the local high schools, including North Olmsted High School. So I'm glad that we're seemingly on our way to retaining Carrie for yet another period of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Ms. Heeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Betsy, I'd like to thank you for, working so hard to get these rates up. I, in the beginning, thought they were way too low, and you've done a very good job at each contract, bringing us something better. So thank you. I do have 2 questions. and Betsy, perhaps you could answer, or maybe the mayor, you could answer. This is a pretty large space. And I know that at one point, Mayor, you had considered that you wanted a basketball gymnasium. Have you evaluated the space again and want to use it for that, or are you happy with gymnastics?
Mayor, if you want me to. Go ahead.
I think I can answer. I mean, yeah, we're happy with gymnastics. We got 20 years with Carrie, and it's been successful. Certainly we love that basketball courts, but gymnastics is a pretty successful program.
Okay, and just a follow-up question. And have we considered offering the space to other types of programs, Taekwondo or this or that, or just, because it seems like it's a very large space that we sort of reserve specifically for one private business owner, while we have many in the city that, I'm wondering if we had ever considered opening it up to like a bid situation so that we get the most money that we could. Mayor?
No, we've never considered opening up for a bid. And Betsy could probably answer the question better. I mean, she owns all the equipment down there. I don't know if she subs that out at all, or whether we ever have any classes of anything out down there. I'll let you answer that.
We do not. We do not. When we put that equipment down there, that equipment isn't easily moved. And I know there's, Carrie pays a good deal of insurance to make sure that that's covered for gymnastic purposes. And I think that gets a little sticky for her if other people are using it. She does not sub it out, to my knowledge, to other groups. It's filled with gymnasts, really, to be honest. So, I mean, you'll have some daytime hours, maybe mid-afternoon or early mornings that it's not being used, but every evening, weekend, it's full of gymnasts. So there's not a lot of time for her to put other stuff down there at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The rest of council, anyone have a question? All right, seeing none, I'll recommend 2021-41 to full council and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That passes 3-0. Thank you. All right, next is 2021-42. An ordinance dispensing with the requirements of North Olmsted Codified Ordinance Section 11.01 entitled City Contracts Involving the Receipt of Funds, and authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with the Cleveland Ice Storm Skating Club to provide concession services at the Recreation Center. Betsy, you want to take that one too?
Yes, so we've come to you with a couple different versions of concessions and vendings in the past. Vending being the vending machines with snacks, and we've had trouble with that over the years. We still do not have a current person that wants to provide vending to us. We have also done different versions of concessions over the year. When I started here, we ran it. We had a full-time concession manager for a while. We had all sorts of versions of it. It was never overly profitable. We struggled to keep inventory with the way our purchase order system works to be able to have enough stuff on hand. And we eventually did go out to bid. We had 2 or 3 separate companies come in to try to run it over the years. Both of them did not last a year, I don't think, each one of them. So somewhere back, I want to say maybe going 10 years now, we've had it was Cleveland Edges at the time, proposed to run the concession stand as a fundraiser for their club. They have their parents volunteer their time in there, and then they get credits back towards their ice bill with the club. So it has gone well. They did not, obviously, with the rec closing in March, that was a bad ending for them not to have the ice show and everything like that. They do not operate in the summer. We use that space in the summer for the lunch program. So this is September through May. They provide slushies and popcorn and pop through Pepsi or whatever vendor we're currently with, which is Pepsi, to just make enough that it works out for their people to get $9 to $10 an hour back towards their ice bill. They have a dedicated group of people who volunteer and works out for them, just keeping skaters on the ice, being able to pay their bills. So it's a fundraiser. It works out for us, minimal interaction on our end, and they're happy to continue to do it. So.
Thank you. In case I missed it while I was looking over my paperwork, part of that ordinance is the proposed term is 9 months, with the skating club paying the city $125 a month.
Yeah,
I want to get that on the record.
Yes.
Okay. The rest of the committee, do you have a question? Ms. Heeman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Betsy, are you pretty well satisfied that it covers your public ice skating sessions well enough for those folks?
Yeah. Friday nights.
Volunteer. I mean, it sounds like it's an amazing thing, but you know, your public sessions, are they covered?
They cover all the public sessions, and then I give them a monthly schedule of events. So if we have a school group in, they'll make sure they're open for our school group when Chestnut comes in. They try to be here for all the varsity hockey games. I think they have a conflict once or twice when their entire club is out of town, the same busy weekend as some of the games, but they've done pretty well to make sure that it's covered for all of those. They did not open this season. We did not run any open skates until spring. They did not open. We tried to get them, but it just didn't. I think they opened for a couple of minutes for the ice show, but it was not worth them. We didn't have enough this year with opening with all the restrictions and nobody being in the building for them to open. But in general, regular year, yeah, it works out really good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Chair, you're muted.
Sorry, Mr. Schuman, did you have your hand up? Okay.
I was just trying to let you know you couldn't.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I was trying not to get this thing to squeal. So at this time, I go ahead and recommend 2021-42 to the rest of council and ask for a second.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that passes 3-0. That will end the Recreation, Public Parks and Buildings meeting at 8:29 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.